Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Dademde Deborah, and today I'll be teaching you on how to draft your handkerchief flay, or what is also known as a square flay. Okay, and what does a square flay or an handkerchief flay mean? It means that you are drafting a circle skirt and also a square skirt on the same pattern, such that the upper circumference of the skirt, just like this, is circle, while the down part is sharp edged, just like what I have here. So this is a circle square skirt, okay, or you can call it handkerchief skirt. Okay, the measurement that you need for this type of skirt include your circumference, just like I mentioned earlier in the last video. I said your circumference can be at the waist if you are attaching it to your waist, or you are making a skirt. If you are attaching it to a bustier, a bodice, depending on what you are making, you want to attach it to your waist, or you want to attach it to the hem of your skirt, maybe at the knee. So you want to take your knee circumference or your hem circumference. Okay, if you are attaching it to your sleeve, you want to attach it to, you want to make measurement of your either your wrist circumference or your elbow circumference, or whatever part of your sleeve that the flay will be joining. So it can be to the sleeve, okay, it can be to the hem of a trouser also, if you are joining it maybe from the knee down. Okay, so now you need the circumference. Number one, you need the length of your flay that you want to achieve. You need it. Then you also need your band height, or your height. Okay, now just like we said earlier, if you're attaching it to the waist, maybe as a skirt, you want to take some height off to get a band, maybe like 2 inches. If you're attaching it to a bodice, your body's measurement, you remove it from the full length to get your waist to your length. Okay, so that's the case for when you are joining it to a skirt or a bodice or a bustier. Okay, for the knee, the same thing. You get your length, and from there you can minus your height of what you want to achieve, or you just go to that point that you're attaching it to and measure the distance down to where you will like the skirt or the flay to end. Okay, so for this class I'll be using circumference of 10 inches. I'll be using length of let's do 12 inches. Okay, I'll be using length of 12 inches, or let's do 10 also. Let's do 10. Okay, then since it's a skirt, I will be getting my band height from it. Okay, and I want to do band height of 2 inches. So it means that my flay length is now 10 minus 2 minus 10 give me 8. So this is the length I'll be working with. Okay, so let's get to our paper. I want to get your fabric, so I'll be using this scrap pattern paper as my fabric in replacement of my fabric. Okay, now the first thing you want to do is that to calculate your circumference. We calculated the radius of a circle to be your circumference over 2 pi. Okay, which is still the same thing as circumference over 6.28. so the radius of this skirt will be what? The waist circumference, or wherever circumference you are using, which is, we have 10 inches here. So 10 inches divided by 6.28 will be the radius of this circle that we are working with. Okay, so that's 10 divided by 6.28. It gives us 1.59, approximately 1.6 inches. Okay, so this is the circumference of the skirt we are trying to make, the handkerchief skirt we are trying to make. So this 1.6 inches, we add it to our length of the flay length, which is 8 inches, to get the total number of fabric that you'll be needing. So that's 1.6 plus 8 inches will give us 9.6. Okay, now you still need extra inch of 0.5 to join it to the band or your bodies, depending on where you are joining it to. Then you need 1 inch ME allowance. Okay, so that's 1.5. This plus this is 1.5. So 1.5 plus 9.6 plus 1.5, it gives us 11.1 inches. So we need a fabric of 11.1 inches. So now to now know the amount to cut out in total, you will be multiplying this 11.1 by 2 inches by 2. Okay, so 11.1 times 2 will give us 22.2. okay, so that's what we'll be measuring for the length. We're measuring 22.2. for the breadth, you measure 22.2. okay, so use your own circumference and your length to get to this point, like we've earlier explained in the last video. Okay, like I explained earlier, the radius of your skirt is your circumference divided by 2 pi. Okay, and our pi is 22/7, okay, which is still the same thing as 3.142. so 3.142 times 2 will give us 6.28. so now this circumference depends on the type of points they are joining your skirt to, which is your either your waist, your knee, or your sleeve. Okay, so once you know the circumference of that point, place it here, then divide it by 6.28. whatever you get, add your normal length, your flail length to it, plus your joining allowance as well as your hemming allowance. So everything that you now get, you multiply it by 2 to get your fabric length that you want to measure, which will be the same length at the breadth and at the length. Okay, so I'll be measuring 22.2 here and 22.2 here. Okay, so this is scrap paper, so it might be looking rough. Just manage it. This is, I'll be measuring 23 inches so that I will be able to have an even number. Then I can later chop off what I don't need. Okay. Okay, do the same thing for the breadth. You measure 22 inches or 23 inches right now. This is 23, so you mark it off across the paper and you join together so that you can know what you have as your fabric. Okay, so I will join these points together. Okay, so this is what we now have as our box. This box is what we'll be cutting now to get the amount of fabric that you need. Okay, so now this is the amount of fabric I will need for this paper, for this draft of waist circumference of 10 inches and length of 8 inches. So what I want to do now is to fold just like we did for our circle skirt. You fold this way, you fold it into 2. Okay, you fold into 2 like so. And you also fold once again to get a 4 fold, to get 4 folds. Okay, so this is what you will have, and if you measure right now, you will get this 11.1 inches, or since we measured that, what's it called, 23 inches out, we'll be getting 12.5 as our length. Now let's take our measurement. Yeah, sorry, we get 11.5 as our length. So this is what we have here. Okay, so you can choose to cut off the excess that you don't want. So the measurement that we have is 11.1, so you can just do 11.1 here, you know, to get a straight a straight line, or you can decide to just leave this excess of about 0.5 inch allowance that is added to your length already. So now our circumference is 1.6. So I'll come to this corner just like we did in the circle flay tutorial. You come to this side that is having both sides unfold. This side is unfold and this side is also unfold. You want to come there and place that your circumference, which is 1.6. So I just mark around from this point, you pivot it around. So this is 1.6. Okay, then you will join the point. Okay, so this is what you will cut out. Okay, now remember that we've added our allowance, so you can either choose to add the allowance here and remove it downward, or just cut this off and you still have your allowance removed by the time you join it. Okay, so I will be cutting this off without adding the allowance up here or removing it down here. Okay, so I'll cut it off. I will note that by the time I finish joining, I will have my exact length here. Okay, so I will cut this off. Now if you are cutting a circle flay, the normal thing to do is to take your circumference at the hem here. Okay, you take your circumference, like we have a length of 8 inches. What you want to do is to mark 8 inches around. That is if you are making a circle flay. But because we are making an handkerchief flay, we will not be doing that, because we need this angle. This angle is what will give us our handkerchief effect. So for you to have your handkerchief effect, we don't want to cut it off, because once you cut it off, the handkerchief effect will be gone. But if you want a full circle flay, you just have to take your length, which is 8 inches that we measured here. You want to take it from after this our circumference up here. You want to take your 8 inches. You know that 8 inches plus 1 inches will give us 9. So you want to take that 1 inch and take it 9 inches across, like so. But because we are working with we are trying to get a circle square flay skirt or an handkerchief flay, you will not be doing that. All you just have to do is to confirm that your measurement for the length of your skirt is correct, which is 8 inches. 8 inches plus 1 will give us 9, plus 0.5 for joining will give us 9.5. Okay, this is 9.5. So remember that I said I added 0.5 inch allowance to it when I was cutting the paper, so that can be as excess for it to elongate the what's it called, the handkerchief, as well as the length of the full skirt. Okay, so I will not be cutting anything out. All I need to just cut out is just this circumference that I marked out, which is the point, the waist circumference or your sleeve circumference, or wherever point you are joining it to. So this is the only part you'll be cutting out from the fabric to get your handkerchief flay. Okay, so once that is out, you can open it up so that you can have your handkerchief, and this is it. So that's why we call it square circle skirt or flay. Okay, because it has a square hem, whereas the upper part is circle. So by the time you are putting it on, by the time you are putting it on, it will look something like this. Can you see that square effect, that handkerchief effect down there? So this is what you will have by the time you put it on your mannequin, or you attach it to the part of the dress that you are going to. Let me see if you can pass through my hand. Okay, so imagine that you have something like this. This is what it will look like. This part will go in, and this is what it look like on you. So this is how you get your handkerchief flay skirt or flay. Okay, if you find this video helpful, kindly like, subscribe and share with your loved ones, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.